Along the French coast was painted during her time in France, about 1891. She and her lover, Guy Rose, traveled to the tiny Norman town of Giverny, which her fellow artists had told them about, that it was a wonderful place to work. And in this quaint village, they found wonderful subjects to paint, and they met Claude Monet. The style of this grand master of French Impressionism inspired Evelyn, and she began to experiment with his manner of evoking light on the canvas and shared his attraction to landscape as a worthy subject. Marie Evelyn McCormick was an American painter around the turn of the last century, and she's generally classified as a California Impressionist. Early in her career, she became a recognized talent amongst her peers, and her charming personality made her a leader in the artistic community. Well, doing the research was much like being a detective, because there were no books about her. There were really no cache, there was no cache of letters with her family or with her lovers. And I was thrilled when I found a gallery in San Francisco had a wonderful archive of old newspaper articles by art critics, and there I found many references to Evelyn McCormick. And then in Will South's book, Guy Rose, he quotes letters that he found in Guy Rose's estate, where Guy Rose was writing to his friends and mentioned Evelyn McCormick coming to Paris and about their life together there. Well, my first book was an historical novel about another audacious young lady, Julia Duval, who ventured out to the Indian Territory, which is present-day Oklahoma, in 1826. For my second project, I wanted to write about another woman, one who lived around the turn of the century and who was an artist. Early in my research, I discovered a collection of women artists around Monterey, California, whose work seemed significant. The more I looked into Evelyn's life, the more fascinating her life story became, and the more her work stood out amongst her peers. Monterey and Carmel became a haven for artists and writers at this time, and the group identified clearly with the Parisian left bank model. Along with her fellow artists, she was a prolific painter and enjoyed close friendships within this Bohemian community. Some of her artist friends were Charles Rollo Peters, Javier Martinez, and Isabel Hunter. An especially fine painter in the community was E. Charlton Fortune. Effie Fortune was younger than Evelyn, but from their paintings we see they knew and probably worked together occasionally. The artistic community in Monterey and Carmel and San Francisco suffered a terrible blow with the San Francisco earthquake of 1906, and many of Evelyn's and her friends' paintings were probably destroyed at this time. In 1907, the Monterey painters inaugurated a gallery at the luxury resort Del Monte Hotel on the peninsula in the hope that many of San Francisco's wealthy patrons would replace the art that had been destroyed in their homes with their new work. One of the paintings from this opening exhibition was this painting, Boats, Monterey Bay. This rather small work is indicative of McCormick's ability to evoke sentiment and place. One feels her affection for the small, colorful boats brightening up a cloudy day on the bay. Her detailed brushwork encourages the viewer to study the shimmering water and reflections as the heavy fog rolls in. During the Great Depression, Evelyn was commissioned by the Works Progress Administration to paint Monterey's beautiful old adobes. This work came at a time when she was impoverished, living at the Royal Hotel and selling little. Many of the paintings are now owned by the City of Monterey and hang in the offices of the mayor and other city officials. Even though her theme often is nostalgia for the past, she never becomes insipid or overly sentimental. Rather, she sees these crumbling edifices as a testament to the beauty and tranquility of the past. Evelyn McCormick died in 1948 in Monterey in a small room in the Royal Hotel. Here are a few more of her paintings that illustrate the elegance and rigor of her work. Her paintings hang in major museums and in the homes of private owners, primarily along the west coast of California. And I'm hoping that with this book, that more of her work and more about Evelyn will come out of the woodwork.